the feet of Loon. I'm Chris.
And I'm Wesley.
My carb-loving Loon.
That's true. Give me a potato or bread or whatever.
That's right. Well, I'm going to give you one of those things today. I am so excited because I know you are too. We are making, well, I have to say, I was thinking about this earlier. When I think of all of the great accomplishments that humankind has ever done, you think of the printing press, you think of electricity, you think of wine, but I think the most amazing thing is what we're going to be making today.
Let's tell them.
Bread. We're doing our
Focaccia with rosemary and olive oil.
That was kind of a lousy setup, but it's just bread.
I didn't realize that you were going to say bread. I thought just focaccia was a wonderful thing.
Oh, well, your focaccia. Anyway, so we are doing focaccia. So focaccia is just this amazing bread. You probably had it when you go to Italian restaurants. Right. They always bring it out in baskets.
The Olive Garden.
Well, yeah, or the others. And it's just it has such a great spongy texture on the inside, really crisp on the outside. It's one of those things that I love to do, but it takes some time. It's not real labor intensive, but it's not one of those things you're going to get home from work and say, let's make focaccia.
Yeah, it takes a little
because unless you feel like eating at 3 a.m. Yeah. So you're going to want to get started early because the whole process could take you all the way up to 7 hours. So it's a fun weekend project. Okay?
It is. It's fun, and the results are amazing and delicious, and everybody will love you.
They should call it Focaccia. Okay, so now you're going to get to hear the dulcet tones of my voice as I talk through. So this is our focaccia dough that we've got right here. We've been doing this all day. That's why we're a little slap happy. But we're going to tell you how we got here. And don't take notes because we have very clear notes in the blog post.
Yes,
okay.
Exactly.
So let's start off. Let's say how we made our focaccia bread.
Let's make our dough.
Okay, so first of all, we used our stand mixer to help us do this. It really helps a lot. And you're going to need a dough attachment to do that. So we start off with 6 1/4 cups of bread flour. Now you want to make you're baking, so you want to make sure your measurements are very exact.
Very precise.
Really precise. So you want to use, I use like a dry ingredients measuring cup, and then as you're getting that flour out, get a knife and just scrape it off so you know you've got exactly a cup. Now an even more precise way to do it is to measure your dry ingredients, and I have the measurements or the weights for those in the recipe card.
You need to weigh.
I'm sorry.
To
weigh it. Not to measure it.
Slow down, cowboy.
I know. Well, I got to get through this. Okay, so we've got 6 1/4 cups of that,
flour,
and we're going to put that into the
stand
bowl
mixer.
of our stand mixer with our dough attachment, and then to that we are going to add 2 1/2 cups of just room temperature tap water. What I do is I just pour it. I measure it out a couple hours in advance. Sometimes your water can run kind of on the chilly side, so you want it to be around 70, 75 degrees, whatever the room temperature is of your house. Okay, so then
not warm water, just room
that's coming.
Got it.
So then we're going to add that into the flour, and then we're going to add 1 1/2 teaspoons of sugar to that. Okay, so now we're going to turn it on low, and we're going to just let that that dough attachment start to do some work, and it's going to start pulling it together. And one thing you're going to notice throughout the process of making this focaccia is that the dough is always really, really sticky, and you're going to think it's too sticky. Well,
it's not.
It's not. It's like Baton Rouge on a July night. It's just sticky, but really good. Okay, so
or Houston.
Any
day of the week.
So but in a good way. Yes. So we're going to let that go for about 3 minutes until it really starts to become what they call like a shaggy dough. Just kind of like falling apart, but it's staying together. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to lift that up, and we're going to take that dough attachment. Don't be afraid to get your fingers kind of sticky because it's going to happen. And then I just push that dough back down into the bowl, and then get a kitchen towel and just cover that bowl, okay? And kind of push that off to the side. Now we're going to start really doing what makes bread, and that's we're going to
get yeasty with it.
We're going to get yeasty. So we're going to take first of all, this is where we get the warm water. Now this you don't want to. If you have a thermometer, an instant read, or any kind of thermometer that can give you the temperature of the water, that's going to be best. So what I do is I put a 1/2 cup in a measuring cup, put it in the microwave for literally 15 seconds, depends on how strong your microwave is. And then I use a temperature gauge just to see, and it wants to be anywhere from 90 degrees Fahrenheit to maybe up to 105. If it's like 100, if it's really hot, it's going to kill the yeast, and you don't want to do it.
Don't kill the yeast.
And if it's super hot, then you can just like blow. I literally blow on it, or you can put it in the fridge. Just monitor until you get down into that 90, 95 degree range.
Great.
Okay. Then we're going to pour that into just a small bowl, and then we're going to take one package of active yeast that's 1/4 ounce or 2 1/4 teaspoons, and you're just going to dump that into that warm water, and then we're going to add another 1.5 teaspoons of sugar to that, and then get a whisk and whisk it up until it's all combined, and then you're going to smell the yeast starting to activate.
It'll start to foam up.
It gets all foamy, which is really great, and that takes I find it takes anywhere from 8 to 10 minutes.
10 minutes, okay.
Yeah, so once it's nice and foamy, now we're going to start to incorporate that back into
the shaggy dough.
Into the shaggy dough. And remember the shaggy DA?
Yeah.
Anyway,
I do.
So we are really dating ourselves. So okay, now we're back to the stand mixer.
Yes.
So if you took that dough hook out, put it back in, remove the kitchen towel, and then lower that back in. We're going to add this mixture in just like sort of in increments. Yeah, the yeast mixture. Yeah. So I just get one of my small little spoons and just turn your mixer on low, and then just start to put that in. It's not going to immediately absorb it, but it will start to suck that liquid in, and then just eventually pour it all in there. Now what you're going to probably need to do, because you're going to feel like there's a little excess liquid. So I turn my mixer off. You still with us, right? Okay,
yes.
Good. We're going to...
I fell asleep.
I know you did. You fell asleep in the dough. So then we lifted it up, and then you take that dough hook out, and then you just use your hands. You're making bread, folks. We're kneading this. I need bread. And so we're going to work that water into the dough. It won't 100% go in. It's okay. It's going to be kind of wet and sloppy, but that's the way we like them, right? And so now once it's pretty much well incorporated into, that's going to take about 1 to 2 minutes.
Right.
Then we're going to add some salt. We need to add, this is a weird measurement, but this is what it is. It's 1 tablespoon plus another 1.5 teaspoons of kosher salt, okay?
Got it.
So you just dump that in, get your dough attachment back in there, slam it back into the dough. Now we're going to crank things up a little bit. So we're going to put it on medium, and it's going to go for about 5 minutes. And that dough is going to start to just really begin to transform before your eyes, before your very eyes.
Right.
And you'll see it where it's just a sloppy mess at first, and then it starts to come together. And when it starts to be able to go around that bowl and not sticking to the bowl, that's when you know you're close.
Wonderful.
And then after about 5 minutes, it's going to be this beautiful dough. So you're going to lift it up and
take that dough hook out.
That dough hook is you're getting a good workout. And then what we're going to do is now we need to lubricate a bowl. So get a nice sized bowl. And what I did, we're
going to let this proof.
We're going to let it proof. And this focaccia bread, really, you use a lot of olive oil, and it's really good. It's one of the key ingredients, and it's so delicious. So we're going to put 3 tablespoons of good quality olive oil in a bowl, and I just kind of swish it around to get the sides kind of oiled up.
Perfect.
And then, again, it's going to be really sticky. You're going to think this feels really sticky, but you just transfer it from the bowl of your mixer into that bowl, and then just use your hands to kind of move it around so it gets coated with the oil, okay?
Right.
And then
you cover it with some plastic wrap.
And then you need to let it proof. Which means you need to let it rise. And this is going to
2 hours.
2.5 hours actually, to get a good proofing session. So if some ovens have a proof setting on there, that's great. You just need it to go into a non-drafty, somewhat warm but not overly hot location, and then just let it do its thing. And then that's when you go and I don't know, you take a nap or you walk the dogs.
You go cut some of your favorite rosemary off.
Yes, we're going to do that in a little bit. Okay, so that takes 2.5 hours. Okay, you still with us? All right, great. So now we need to let the dough chill for a little bit. So you will see by this point,
after the 2.5 hours,
it should have doubled in size in your bowl. I mean, it's literally almost like, I want out of here.
Yeah.
So you carefully just remove that plastic wrap off of the dough, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do this in a baking sheet. So a rimmed baking sheet. Make sure it's rimmed. It's an 18-inch by 13-inch, and we need to add some olive oil. So
you put olive oil in the bottom of the pan? pan?
I do. So we put 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and then I use it just like a brush just to kind of, make sure it's evenly distributed. And then you're just going to, again, transfer that dough into the baking dish. Now, it's going to be maybe feeling a little less sticky, but it's still sticky.
Yes.
But don't panic. It's supposed to be. And then use and a lot of times, because it is sticky, keeping your hands oiled makes it easier to work the dough. So you may want to have a little bowl of olive oil near you, and just kind of dabble your hands. It's probably good for your wrinkles too.
It is.
So it's double duty.
Dry skin.
It is. So then you just use that to kind of start to press it into that sheet now, or the pan. Now, what you're going to probably feel like is it's wanting to pull back. It's wanting to I don't want to stretch that far out. It's just because it needs to rest. We need to let the gluten just kind of calm down. So
you let it rest for like 10 minutes?
10 minutes. I cover it with some plastic wrap. Just leave it on the counter. Let it just rest.
Yeah.
We need to all just chill for about 10 minutes. And then come back, take that plastic wrap off, and then it should be able to start to
move it,
expand out a little bit further. It's not going to reach all the way to the far corners, because that'll happen when it bakes and when we proof again.
Right.
But now we need to let it hang out in the fridge for 2 hours. Now, I told you.
So you put the plastic wrap back on it? Sorry. Go ahead.
Yes. No. You do. I'm sorry. You do want to put the plastic wrap back on it, and
then you put it back in the fridge.
And then you're going to put it back in the fridge. Okay. So.
Sorry, I messed up your.
That's all right. I know. I was going somewhere with that, but like I said, by this point, if you started in the morning, you're probably just finished lunch and you've got room in the fridge anyway.
Yes.
But anyway, so now that needs to go for 2 hours.
Another 2 hours.
And it's time to now mow the lawn and do whatever you need to do. Take the kids to soccer practice. Well, like you would.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. So now we're moving right along, right? It's now been 2 hours. We're getting closer to business.
Yeah, keep on.
All you have to do is take it out of the refrigerator, and then we're going to let it proof one more time. Okay, it needs to proof in the pan.
Right.
And that's going to be just an hour.
So you took it out of the refrigerator and then put it into the stove on the proofing set.
Or in a non-drafty warm area.
For another hour.
And then what that's going to do is it's going to continue to rise here. So you see, so now that's where we are. So we're here. We're in real time.
Woo-wee.
And you were sick of hearing me talk. But anyway, okay, so you'll see what's happened is that dough, and again, it's still a little sticky. It's going to stick a little bit to the plastic, but not too much. It's a good idea. Before you put that plastic, you can spray it with some oil if you want.
Right, if you're worried about it.
Well, if whatever.
That dough is so oily.
There is some oil, and we're going to add even more oil to it. But you can see how it's risen here on the sides. It hasn't completely risen all over. It will. It will definitely rise as it bakes. Okay.
Yes.
So now what are we going to add more of? A little more
olive oil.
It's called focaccia with
olive oil.
But I forgot we got to do our dimples.
Oh, you do the dimples first.
Let's do the dimples first. So now this is one of my favorite parts. I can't believe the Loon isn't doing it. So what
I get oil everywhere.
I know. So if you've ever been to a restaurant, you see that a lot of times they have those fun little indentions, and you may think, how is that possible?
Yes.
Well, this is how you do it. And it's so great when you do this. It creates these little air pockets. These things are just filled with air, which is going to give it that amazing texture that we love in focaccia bread. You see how there's already air bubbles there?
I love that.
Right there. It's beautiful. I'm telling you, this is just one of those creations that's
so amazing.
Heavenly.
It's so amazing.
Okay.
All right, now
let's talk about that.
Yes, so Chris has got some wonderful fresh, I'm talking out of our garden fresh rosemary.
Out of my plant box. I went outside, but that's still a garden.
Yeah.
And I just got some scissors and I clipped my fresh rosemary.
Yes.
You're going to use about 2 tablespoons, and don't overly chop it because we like to leave. Okay, so you can just sprinkle it on. We'll be here I've already been talking for 2 hours.
You're right.
Okay, so now.
Oh, look at that, y'all.
It's beautiful. I mean.
All of it? Should I use all of it?
Yes, by all means.
All of that.
Okay, all of it, please, all of it. Now, what I've got is some just good old coarse sea salt. Sea salt is just we like our focaccia bread a little on the salty side.
We do.
So if you like it super salty, you can add. I'd say it's hard to eyeball. That's probably about a teaspoon. But just liberally salted over the top.
Yes.
Okay.
This is great.
This is so much fun.
Yay.
Okay, so now we've got our oven cranked up to 450 degrees. We're so close. This has been such a labor of love.
It's great.
We're going to put this in the oven, and it's going to go for only about 20, maybe 22 minutes. About halfway through, we're going to turn it around, and you guessed it, we're going to add a little more oil, just because that helps it get nice and brown and crisp on top. Then we're going to let it cool, then we're going to eat it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to faint. Okay. Is there anything more satisfying in this world than making bread from scratch? There's not. I really don't think there is.
Not for you.
Well,
for me, I could be taking a nap.
Well, no, yours is eating it.
Yeah.
So, look at this beautiful.
That is gorgeous.
I just feel like unworthy. It's so beautiful. So
that's a piece of art.
It is,
yes.
And just wait till we eat it.
Come on.
So, what we did, just to kind of get you really up to speed to where we are, we let it. I just let it bake for like 10 minutes, and then I open that oven, and you see it's so beautiful.
So gorgeous.
And most ovens maybe are a little hotter in the back or the front. You know your oven. So what I like to do is just turn it around halfway through. And then we're going to add some more oil at this point.
Yeah.
Because the oil adds flavor, but it also helps it brown on top. So I add another 2 tablespoons of oil. I use one of my little squirt bottles, but if you don't have one of those, no big deal. Just you can brush it on, you can pour it on from a little bottle, whatever, or a little bowl, whatever's easiest. And then let it go for another 10 minutes until it looks golden brown.
Yeah.
Like it may take anywhere from 20 to 22, 23 minutes.
I think 20 minutes is perfect.
20 minutes worked perfect for us.
Yeah.
And then we take it out, and you're going to want to you do need to let it cool for just a little bit, about 10 minutes on a rack. And then you can serve this cold, and you can also, you can serve it warm, or you can serve it room temperature.
I've eaten it cold before.
I have too. I know. It's so good. And a lot of times at restaurants you get it at room temperature, and it's delicious.
Did you put more oil on it?
When I got it out, so yes, I mean, of course you're going to add a little more oil. I just slathered a little more on. I would resist adding more salt at this point because we've already salted it. Let guests add more salt if they'd like. Okay. So now, did I say we took it off of the rack and then we just placed it on
here in all its beauty.
In all of its beauty. So,
go right down the middle. Come on.
Okay, I'm going to go right down the middle. Well, I thought for the sake of time.
Oh, that's all right. I like to see the middle.
Oh, it's so beautiful. Look at that. See how it got those little air pockets, and that is just so gorgeous. Okay, and it just slices so nicely. Oh, I know.
Okay, well, what are you going to eat?
Wes, that's like 1/2 of a slice of sandwich bread for him. Okay.
Ooh.
I know.
Yes.
Focaccia sandwiches.
Use that focaccia as this. Oh, forget about it.
I know.
Okay, I'm taking my piece.
And leaving?
Yeah.
I'm taking my piece and going home. It's just. Where's
give me
my
2
plate?
pieces.
Can I have a plate, please?
There's a plate.
I tell you, I make him bread, and then he doesn't even share it. I know.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh, this is just incredible. Oh, and so what we did now, what you can do is if they can see that. So,
yes.
It's great to serve.
We got a little finishing oil or a little dipping oil.
Just get some good quality olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, whatever you got. And then add some dried herbs to it, a little fresh pepper in there, and then let people
look how wonderful that is.
That's.
I'm going to dip.
I tell you, you're dipping. Mm. And the heavens opened. And God said, "Let there be bread." It's
so delicious.
I know. It makes me want to cry. I know. That's that focaccia texture.
Spongy fluffiness in the inside. Oh,
just the flavor.
Oh, and the olive oil. I'm sorry. I'm just like,
I know.
The olive oil and the rosemary. Fresh rosemary.
Yes. Hello.
And then that salt. Oh, and it's crunchy. It's so. Y'all, you need to make this. Spend a Saturday, just every once in a while. Roll your dough around.
It reconnects you with the good things in life.
It does.
It's so good.
And this is 1,000% approved.
This better be 1,000%.
It is so good.
Oh my gosh, I am so. I am just.
It's it takes a while, but the end
so worth
is just so wonderful.
Oh. It's the experience of that crunching into it, and then the softness. I remember moving to New York City.
I'm going to make a sandwich out of that.
This was one of the first breads that we ever had at an Italian restaurant, and we thought, I could just live on the bread.
I know. A boy from South Dakota, what is this wonderful thing that I'm eating?
I know. And we're going to do more of these later. We're going to do some with some, like when tomatoes are in season.
Yes.
We're going to do some tomatoes on there, do some caramelized onions.
Right,
you can
but
also
for now, you can get this recipe on howtofeedaloon.com.
Did I tell you about that time that I went to this cafe and I ordered some focaccia to go, and I was so excited that I left without it, and the waiter ran out and said, "Hey, mister, you focaccia."
I saw that a mile away. Bye, everybody.
So go to our social media and like us and share us and do all of that stuff.
Oh, Lord.
And don't forget your focaccia.
Yeah.
Okay?
We love you,
everybody.
Bye.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, guys. Now, if you want to be a part of the Loon Fun, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And don't forget to hit that little bell icon so you won't miss a single recipe.
That's right. Oh, and speaking of recipes, if you want another amazing recipe like this, then just click right here.
Yeah, click.
Click.
Subscribe.
It's so much fun.